So I think we can start the paper today. So we'll start the most easiest one. Question number 42. Curie's Weis law is obeyed by an iron at a temperature. So before this, we have to know what is our Curie's Weis statement or what is a Curie's Weis law. Curie-Weiss law. So we all know it is one of the most important laws in electromagnetism, which means it deals with paramagnetism and ferromagnetism respectively. So it says that this law states, the statement of this law, the magnetic susceptibility is above the Curie temperature of a ferromagnetic in the paramagnetic substance. So I'm doing question number 42. Okay. So that is a statement of this particular thing, Curie's law. So clearly states that what the Curie temperature of ferromagnetic, such magnetic susceptibility is above the Curie temperature of ferromagnetic in the paramagnetic substance respectively. Temperature point. Therefore, so this is the most important law in electromagnetism. So it states that magnetic susceptibility is above the Curie temperature point of ferromagnetic in the paramagnetic substance. So what is the Curie temperature? Curie temperature is the temperature at which it loses its paramagnetism. So for question number 42nd, if you look at the option, it is above the Curie temperature. Option 2 is the answer. It is above the Curie temperature. 42nd one. Because it's clearly given that iron. Iron is what? Iron is ferromagnetic in nature. Okay. So this is nothing but in Curie's Weiss law, so it's always above the Curie temperature. For you to understand in this, it's not the statement which is important, because I told you this is an entrance examination. Statement is of nowhere importance to us. Only thing you should understand in this is what question number 42nd. Curie's Weiss law. Because if I tell you the statement now, we are not going for a board exam thing. Correct? So it's a ferromagnetic material above the Curie temperature. Ferromagnetic material greater than what? The Curie temperature. That's the thing. So this is an important thing for you to note down in this. So ferromagnetic material here is the iron. So option B is the answer for this. 42 option B. So guys, we cannot by heart the entire formula, or we cannot, this is not a time to by heart anything. There is no need to by heart. So has everyone finished the 42nd question? Yeah, perfect. Next thing is the 43rd one. The dimensional formula for inductance. So guys, again, the learning from this 43rd question is that the learning curve for this is we have to study the dimensional formula, because they can ask one question, dimensional formula. Okay, so we have to study mostly the dimension. So like the voltage, current, the work, power, all those things we should study and give distance and time, that and all we know what it is. So these are all the things we should study properly. So for in this question, in the 43rd question, so what is the EMF induced in the electric circuit? EMF induced in the electric circuit is equal to L di by dt. So this implies what? What is our L? L is equal to E di by E dt by di. This get cross multiplied over here. Dt by di. Dt by di. And we know what is E. E is equal to W by Q. This is equal to W by Q into dt by di. In the bracket, I'll write what is our E value. Is equal to V is equal to W by Q. So this is nothing but W dt. And what is our Q value? If you don't know what is Q value, you should just draw this triangle, which I'll be drawing now. Q, I and T. Q is equal to IT respectively. Q is equal to IT. So instead of W by IT, I'll put it off here. dt by di. So now I had to just substitute the dimensional values of all those things. W, I, then T, dt by di. So the value of this is written in another pen. ml square t power minus 2 dt is t, q is it, that is a, and this t leaving capital T, this is a itself. di. Okay. So we'll get ml square t power minus 2 a power t power minus 2 a power minus 2. So that is our answer. ml square t power minus 2 a power minus 2. So once session is over, you have to go back to your class 11 textbook, the first chapter. Okay. And you have to learn all the dimensional formula. That is a learning curve for you. One of the questions they can ask. This is ml square t power minus 2. T power minus 2. So work, power, all these things you have to just keep it in by heart. So has everyone finished the 43rd question? Please let me know. Because I want to do it fast. I have to make sure that you guys attend everything in this. If everyone has finished it, please message me the same. The 43rd question. Finished. Is there anyone left to know? Let me know that also. Okay. It's very easy. Done. Okay, fine, perfect. 44th question. A very easy question. 44th one. But we should know it technically. It's not that difficult also. Diagrammatic questions are very easy to solve. 44th one. A magnetic north-south is suspended from a spring, and when it oscillates, the magnet moves in and out of the coil. So when this thing is oscillating, it moves in and out. So sometimes I'll take the north-south inside this coil. Sometimes I will take it outside. Okay, so it moves in and out of the coil. That's it. In and out of the coil respectively. The coil is considered a galvanometer G. Then as a magnet oscillates, options are given. Okay. So let's look at the third option. G shows no deflection. Obviously the galvanometer will show the deflection because the coil is going in and out. So option 3 is eliminated from this. Let's take G shows deflection on one side. So we cannot say that which side it shows a deflection, because again it is showing, because again we are putting this the magnet in and out of the coil respectively. Again we are putting the magnet in and out of the coil respectively. So we cannot say that option 2 is correct. Sometimes it may move to the left, sometimes it may move to the right. We cannot say that thing. Okay, because we are putting the magnet in and out. This north-south we are putting inside the coil. Okay, this is the coil. Let me just see. Sometimes it is the cases. I'll draw here the two cases. So this is our coil, magnet, north or south, whatever it is. Case 1, coil, and this is my north south. So the here magnet is inside the coil. Here magnet outside the coil. Outside the coil. So obviously the galvanometer G will show a deflection wherever it is connected, to the left or to the right. Correct? If I'm keeping the magnet in, obviously it shows to the left or to the right. Coming back to the question. Third one. So first one, let's see the first one now. G shows deflection to the left and right. Correct. It can show to left and right. But with constant amplitude. See, once we are taking the magnet in and out of the coil, obviously the amplitude will vary, because amplitude varies with what? Flux. Correct. So if I am taking it outside, what will happen? If I'm taking it outside, it will increase. If I'm taking it inside, it will decrease. So obviously the amplitude will vary. So the only option for us is option 4. G shows deflection to the left and right, but the amplitude steadily decreases. So because this is due to the change in flux. Option 4 is the answer. So again, I am teaching you here the process of elimination. So I'm not again teaching you on what is the in-depth in this thing, but again we should have a clear-cut picture on how to solve this question. Okay, but again I'm teaching you what? How to mark the options. Rather than solving questions, how to mark the options. Anyone having doubt in this question? Let me know now. Who did not understand the concept of 44th question? Let me know now. I'll help you out. Is there anyone who did not understand question number 44 and how to solve? Yeah, I'll explain it again. Okay, no need to worry. So guys, it's a simple thing. So a magnet is suspended from a spring, as we can see. Okay, and they're saying that if the magnet goes inside, okay, what will be the galvanometer? So will the galvanometer deflect? The galvanometer will obviously deflect. So there are two cases. I am putting the magnet inside the coil and taking it outside the coil. Correct. Magnet moves in and out of the coil C. This is a coil C for us. So there will be a deflection in the galvanometer side, to either to the left or to the right. So obviously option 3 is gone, option 2 is gone, because we cannot say which side it will go. It can either go to the left and right. So these are the only two options left with us. And one more thing, if I am taking the magnetic field inside the coil, okay, and then I'm taking the magnetic field outside the coil, will the flux be same? The flux will be different, or else the amplitude changes. Correct? The amplitude changes. So hence constant amplitude option is also gone. The only thing available for us is option 4. If you want, I'll write down this for you. 44th in words. In my own sentence, okay. When the magnet moves in and out of the coil, there will be a deflection in galvanometer towards the left or right. That is, it cannot be on one side or neither, no deflection. Or neither, no deflection. Okay, and second point is that if I am constantly, same thing, magnet moves in and out of the coil again. Second point is what? The flux varies. The flux varies. If flux is varying, amplitude not constant. That's it. So these are the key idea. This is a very easy question, but a tricky one too. If you don't understand or if you think that this is a very high level question, this can eat up our brain. But only thing what I want to convey from this question is, By seeing the option itself, we can get the answer. So please write down this thing in your own words. And little bit of common sense will be fine. So with that being said, I think once you finish writing down this thing, message me in the chat option. So is it clear now to everyone? I written down all the same thing. So that's how we get that option, last option. So to the student who asked me to explain, did you understand or you still have doubts? See again, guys, I'm again telling you that this is not about the guys who's getting 60% or 90 percentage. Entrance, anyone can get any rank. Options also they are giving us. Okay, so it's very easy only. But we have to work hard from our end. Dimensional formula today, once session is over, obviously you have to refer your class 11 textbook or any other material and get the job done. Again, if you're not able to get it, ping me, I'll send you the notes. Yeah. Okay. So I hope everyone has finished this thing up. 45th question. The maximum current that can be measured by a galvanometer of resistance 40 ohm is 10 milliamps. It is converted into a voltmeter that can read up to 50 volts. The resistance to be connected in series with the galvanometer is in how much ohms? I think 3 to 4 students has sent me the answers. Okay, so I think everyone can try this question. And also send me the answers in the chat. Please send me the answer in WhatsApp so that I'll verify what you have written. So everyone try the 45th question. So the guys, the only reason which I'm doing the past year papers of 2004, 2005 or whatever it is, because the last year paper 2019 is just a similar pattern of 2006, 2007. You got the point. So that is the reason I'm doing all these past year papers. If anyone is having difficulty in this, please let me know the same also. If anyone is having difficulty in this question, please let me know the same. If any of my student is having difficulty in doing this question, or they might have forgotten the formula or anything, please message me the same in the chat option. So I'm getting the answers. I'm just checking each and every ones. Anyone who does not understand, let me know the same. Okay. So guys, a dummy question, to be very frank with you. This is not a difficult question. This is the most easiest question of all. It only appears difficult, but it is a dummy question. Let me see anything on chat option. Correct. Whoever has messaged me, everyone has given me the correct answer. Is there anyone who did not get message me now? Yeah. This is the most easiest one of all. Yes. Is there anyone did not get option B? I think now almost 10 students have sent me the answer. 4960. Is there anyone who did not get the answer? So guys, a simple thing. V is equal to IR. That's the concept I'm using here. That's all. R means G plus R I will do. V is equal to I into G plus R. This is the only thing to be done for getting the answer in this question. How many of you did not get it? Let me know now. Who did not get option B as answer, please let me know now. Simple thing this is. So let us go this side. So 5000 is equal to 40 plus R. R is equal to 4960. That's it. V is equal to IR is the only formula. That's it. Nothing else in this. If you want me to write clearly, I can write it that also. So this is for students who did not get this thing. V is equal to IR. Correct? So here V is equal to I into R plus G or G plus R, whatever it is. What is our V value? V value is given as 50. I value 10 into 10 power minus 3. R value to find out, G value is 40. R plus 40. Cut these two things. So 5000 is equal to R plus 40. R is equal to 4960. That's it. 45th question. Option B. Please copy it down. Well, I'll check the other answers. Let me just check it out. So those who did not get, once you completed, message me the same. Then I can go to the next question. Nah, I'm just telling you about the students who did not get it and still writing it down. Okay. But most of you have got this thing. A simple thing only. This is. So Pavani, I think I sent you a wrong message. Okay. So it is to one of my other student. So I hope everyone has finished this thing. So before going to 40, I want to do the 47th question. 46th question is very easy question. How many of you want to do 46? I think some of the students done 46. I'll come back to that last. Okay. So currently let me do the 47th question. Very important. I want everyone to try the 47th question. Forty-seventh question. Everyone try it. In a circuit shown, the internal resistance of cell is negligible. The steady state current in the 2 ohm resistor is how much? I think is there anyone who does not know how to do 47th question? Please message me in the chat. Don't make it too late. So those who are trying, good. Okay. Answer is not important. The thing is that we have to be confident to attempt. That's what I'm looking upon. So in the entrance examination, once you're going to write the case set, you should be very sure and you should be very confident of the exam. And we should not be scared at any point of time. Excuse me. So I think better I'll do the thing. Okay, a lot of guys has got a lot of doubts in this. Forty-seventh question. So guys, the key idea in this is what? In a steady state, no current flows through the branch containing the capacitor. So this is the most important thing in this. Steady state, there is no current flowing through the branch containing the capacitor. So which means, therefore, the equivalent circuit can be drawn as so this is for the students who does not know the thing I'm drawing. Okay, you can try it down your own, not a problem. Two ohms, 3 ohms, 2.8 ohms is equal to 6 volts. So what is the effective resistance of the circuit? The effective resistance of the circuit. So which means you would add the 2.8 ohms with the parallel 2 and 3 ohms. Correct? 2.8 plus 2 into 3 by 2 plus 3 for the parallel thing. So 6 by 5, that is 1.2. 2.8 plus 1.2, 4 ohm. So this implies our current flowing through a circuit is equal to E by R or V by R. 6 by 4, that is 1.5 amps. Current value I got 1.5 amps. Now I have to find the current through the 2 ohms. So this is the total current I. I have to find this I1. So what is this thing? I minus I1. So I'll take one more thing for simplification purpose. I'll just take one more the current thing. 2 ohm. This is our 3 ohm. This is our I1, I minus I1. So a simple thing I had to do, V is equal to IR thing. So just making sure that this is what 2 into I1. Voltage 1 is equal to voltage 2. Voltages are same in parallel. With this kept in mind, I'll write what? The voltage across this is equal to voltage across this. Correct? So V1 is equal to V2. This implies V1 is 2 into I1 is equal to 3 into I minus I1. So guys, this is I1, okay? I minus I1. V1 is equal to V2. This is the same concept which I'm using here. So 2 into I is equal to 3 into what is our I value? 1.5 minus I1. So multiply 3 into 1.5, I'll get 4.5 minus 3 I1. This is 2 I1. So this implies 5 I1 is equal to 4.5. 5 into 0.9 sir. I1 is equal to 0.9 amps. This is my answer. So the only thing we have to note in this is in a steady state, no current flows through the branch containing the capacitor. How many of you have done this problem before? These kind of problems? Or else, how many of you have not done this problem? That will be a more important question. Okay, not done before. But now you know, if any question, if they give steady state is very, very important in this. Then there is no current flowing through the branch. No current is flowing in a steady state. So if anyone want to go to next page, let me know the same. So guys, again in this thing, we are using a very simple concept. Voltages in parallel are equal. V1 is equal to V2. This is the only concept which I am using here. Okay. Simple thing. V is equal to IR. Previous page. Okay. Again here, a simple thing which I am doing is resistance in series. This is in series with this parallel. That's all. Then I am computing the overall current. I is equal to V by R. The only trick in this question is the capacitor, and it's they give clearly made our life easy by saying that it's a steady state circuit. So in steady state thing, there won't be any current flowing through that particular branch. So please keep this in mind. Steady state. Write it in your formula sheet or the note. Steady state, no current flows. If anyone want to see the next page or previous page, please let me know. Then only I'll come to know. Other than that, I don't know. Okay. So one of the students is saying previous page, other student is saying next page. 1 second, guys. See, just in the previous page and written nothing, but I just removed the capacitor. Okay, and rest of things are same only. The previous page from the original question, I just removed the capacitor and I just computed the total current in the circuit so that I can come to this. So I want each and everyone to write this thing down. Okay. Because only from this you're going to benefit. So for the student who want to go to the previous page, that's it, nothing else. You can just take a pic in your mobile itself. Instead of writing these things down, take a pic in your mobile and then we can go to the next page. For the student who needs this particular page, I'm just telling her to take a pic of this thing. See. See, next page, nothing is there. I just simplified. That's all. That you can do it. The previous page, the next page. So this is the first page. Steady state, no current flows. That's it. Simple thing. So we're eliminating the capacitor. Second thing. See, stepwise, I'll just write it down if you want. Step 1. Eliminate the capacitor branch. Capacitor branch. Step 2. Find the effective resistance. Step 3. Find the total current. Step 4. Find the branch current. I1, that's it. So guys, these are the steps you have to know. Eliminate the capacitor branch because it's steady state. Step 2, find the effective resistance. Step 3, find total current. Step 4, find the branch current I1 using the parallel concept. V1 is equal to V2. 4 easy steps. If you can memorize like this, that's the best way to learn this problem. So once you've finished these things, please let me know. Done. Yeah, 2 more minutes, fine. 1 more minute. Okay. Please copy it. So I think everyone has done it now. '48th question. A rectangular coil of 300 turns has an average area of 25 centimeter and 10 centimeter. The coil rotates with a speed of 50 cps in a uniform magnetic field of strength 410 per minus 2 Tesla about an axis perpendicular to the field. The peak value of induced EMF in volt is how much? So that is the question. If anyone does not know this thing, please let me know the same. Is there anyone who does not know this, how to do this question? Message me now. If you feel a little bit of difficulty, do it now. If anyone does not know what is CPS or anything, or having any difficulty in this question, please message me now. Or else I'll assume that you know the thing. Not getting. Okay. Fine. Then I'll do this question now. 48th one. Key points to note. First one, CPS, cycle per second. So which means omega is coming to the picture. Omega is equal to 2 pi f. First formula to know. Second thing, this is the first one. The second one, the peak value of induced EMF. Obviously, sin theta will be sin 90 induced EMF in a rectangular coil. A rectangular coil is equal to is induced EMF. Better I'll write in red color pen. Is equal to NBA omega sin theta. Omega values were 2 pi f. Okay, or else is equal to NBA into 2 pi f sin 90. Sin theta is 90. Sin 90 is 1 anyway. So now let us solve this question. In its number of turns given 300. Magnetic field is also given B. So I think yes. The screen got just shut down now. Oh, that's okay. Is everyone able to hear me now? Is screen visible to everyone? Okay, perfect. We'll start with the question itself. See guys, for this question, for the question number 48, I'll write down again. The key idea for us is CPS, cycles per second. From this we get what omega value was 2 pi f. Omega value is 2 pi f. First formula. Second thing is the peak value of induced EMF. Induced EMF in the rectangular coil is E stands for induced EMF is equal to NBA omega sin theta. Omega value is 2 pi f. N is number of turns into 2 pi f, and this is maximum. So sin 90. Sin 90 value is 1. Substitute all of these things down. 300 into 4 into 10 power minus 2, and area is given as 25 into 10 power minus 4 into 2 pi f. Frequency f 50 cycles. So if we all do the multiplication, you'll get as 30 pi volts. That's it. It's 25 is this one. So please copy down this 48th one. Answer 30 pi volts. Has everyone completed this thing? Is there anyone left to complete? Message me that also. Is there anyone left to complete it? So guys, I think today is Tuesday. So this Friday you'll have a test on max. Okay. So coming to your preparation point of view, see guys, since you are at home, and is my voice audible to everyone? I hope it is. Okay. See, while I'm taking the class, there are a lot of options for you to be distracted. Okay, since everyone is using the smartphone and is having internet, so there is a lot of things. Yesterday I just was downloading the Google Meet. Okay, in my iPad. So I was just seeing some student reviews also in that. So they are telling it's very useful because now I can scroll down the in my Instagram feed without which is not possible in Zoom. Okay. So guys, only one thing I want to tell you that this is an entrance coaching thing. Correct? So this is not like your tuition program where we can make it okay. Somewhat we can study it. There is time to study, and if we can study by ourselves, best. Okay. But entrance coaching program is completely different from the tuitions or whatever it is. So this is 100 or 10,000 times more stressful. Okay, to be very frank with you, if you're taking this too much serious, no, this is actually the most stressful thing in whole of exams. Leave about IAS or UPSC, the IIT JEE or KSET is the most stressful for any student. If you take it seriously, the condition is that you have to take it seriously. If you're taking this seriously, it's highly stressful for the student. You can ask to anyone who has got a rank less than 1,000, they'll tell it is highly stressful because to be patiently studying when your friends are partying it out or anything, it's a huge sacrifice that we are doing. Okay, but it's on the greater good. And one more thing, due to this stressful, that is the reason we can see in Rajasthan where there are a lot of coaching centers. Okay, I don't want to take the name of any coaching center. Okay, there are a lot of suicides also because that is a kind of schedule is required to get a rank less than 1,000. Okay, because there I'll tell you what is the teaching. They'll teach the theoretical part and they'll give you these tons of things as homeworks to do, and the next class you have to be doing it. Fine. So here in my program, I am doing most of the questions and making sure that each and every one is fully. So I want each and every one to dedicate your time. Okay. So first thing, be punctual at 11 o'clock because I'll be starting the class by 11 because I have to finish up the papers first. Then only I can train you to the time management skills. You got the point. Hmm? If you don't know any topic or anything, please let me know the same. Fine, I'll help you out. I'm sure that in circles or in the comment section, a lot of people are having doubt in it. I know that particular thing. Okay, so some of you were not available in my class at that time. Fine. So guys, this is a very stressful thing. First, I'm telling you very frankly, not only for you, for me also. Okay, highly stressful preparation this is. But only thing if you take it seriously. But if you scroll down our WhatsApp status or Instagram status by that time, okay, so then that is not the correct way to attend this program. Then we are losing our chance of getting a good rank. So I don't have anything other than to tell this. See, the thing is that if I want, I can just discuss the question and leave it like that. But in the coming exam, in the Friday's exam, I want each and everyone to perform at their best. So that's the reason I'm telling you this. Any doubt up to this question to anyone? If no doubts, then take a break for 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, take a break. So guys, coming back to the 49th question. In a LCR circuit, the potential difference between terminals of the inductance is 60 volts. Between the terminals of the capacitor is 30 volts. And that between the terminals of the resistance is 40 volts. The supply voltage will be equal to how much? The 49th question. So the resultant potential difference of the LCR circuit is what? V is equal to root of VR square plus VL minus VC the whole square. VR is given as 40, VL 60, 60 minus 30 the whole square. 40 is 1600. 30 square is 900. So 2500. Root of 25 is 5 and root of 100 is 10. So 50. 50 volt is the answer. 49th question answer is 50 volt. Yes. So finally, some of my students are back in form. Okay. So they're giving me the answers finally. 50th one. 50th one, option A. Sorry, 49th one. Yeah. Option A, 50 volts. If everyone has finished writing this thing, let me know the same. Has everyone finished this question? Has everyone finished this thing? Let me know. Is there anyone left to copy it down? Yeah. Let's do some easy questions now. 51st question. The spectrum obtained from the chromosphere of the sun at the time of total solar eclipse is how much? So those who don't know what is chromosphere, it is the outer surface of the sun. And there is something called photosphere. Better I write on the blackboard, the whiteboard here. Chromosphere. Outer surface of the sun. Next thing, photosphere. Inner surface of the sun. So what happens during a solar eclipse? The photosphere is cut off. So now you see the question. The spectrum obtained from the chromosphere at the sun of the sun at the time of total solar eclipse is which one? Continuous emission spectrum, line absorption spectrum, line emission spectrum, band absorption spectrum. So I'll tell you first thing, it cannot be any absorption thing. Option 2 and option 4 is gone. Next thing is the continuous emission spectrum. Correct? So that is only coming from where? From the photosphere. So the only option left to us is line emission spectrum is the answer. 51, option 3 is the answer. 51st question, option 3 is the answer. So how many of you not heard about chromosphere, photosphere? How many of you heard about this thing of the sun? Has anyone heard about this thing? Or is the first time? So I think it's the first time for everyone, so mark the answer. 52nd one. Heavy water is option 1, water in which soap does not lather. Option 2, compound of heavy oxygen, heavy hydrogen. Compound of deuterium and oxygen, water at 4 degrees Celsius. Let me see the answer. So guys, your options please. Only from 2 students they send me the option. So others please wake up and let me know the answer. These are all easy questions. As I always tell you, the first 30 are difficult, the last 30 will be easy. Always attempt the last 30. So I'm waiting answers from all of you. Okay, not from 3-4 students. So what is this heavy water? It is D2O. Option 3 is the answer for this. Heavy water is D2O. That's it. Compound of deuterium and oxygen respectively. Option C. Simple thing. Next one, 53rd one. The nuclear reactor at Kaiga is which one? Breeder, power reactor, research reactor, fusion reactor. Oh my God, it's a lot of different answers I'm getting. Everyone just throw down your answer. Let's see how many of you get correct. Okay. See, whichever thing comes to your mind, you tell. This is not your KSET examination. Okay, fine. So what we need from this is a thorough reading of a textbook. That's all. Each and every line in textbook, we should be thorough. In the textbook. Let me call out the names, then it will be fine, I think so. I don't want to do that. Let me just see. Melron, Kuldeep, then Anandu, Akil, Aditya has sent me, I think so. Surya, Tarun has sent me. Surya and Tarun. Amog has sent me. Yeah, fine. So guys, what is the answer? Do not sleep. Okay, this is a very interesting thing. Getting the answer correct or wrong is not a problem for us. I want everyone to tell the answer, because this is the best way to get out of that fear. Because we don't know when they are going to keep it, in July or August. Okay. So guys, the answer for this is what? Power reactor. So the combination was between 2 and 4. The answer is power reactor. 53rd option 2. Next thing, 54th one. When a body moves in a circular path, no work is done by the force, since first one, there is no displacement, there is no net force. Force and displacement perpendicular to each other, the force is always from the center. Which option is 1, 2 or 3? So guys, even if you don't know this thing, no work is done, which means what? Work is 0. What is work formula? FD cos theta. Correct? Perpendicular means what? Cos 90 is 0. So force and displacement are 0. Option 3. Option 3 is the answer. There is nothing called option C or option A. Okay. It is FD cos theta. It's perpendicular. So these kind of questions, we should be very careful. But dummy questions also. Cos 90. That's it. Option 3 is the answer. 55th question, everyone do it. 55th question. A bullet moving the speed of 100 meters per second can just penetrate 2 planks of equal thickness. The number of such planks penetrated by the same bullet when the speed is doubled will be how much? 55th question. So guys, there are a lot of formulas to do this. Easy question this is. Please message me the answer, Gautam, in my WhatsApp. Please send me the answer in the WhatsApp. That's it. So I want each and everyone to try this question. It's a very important question. So whomever has sent me the answer, it is correct. Okay. Yes, whomever has sent me the answer in WhatsApp, it's correct. And in this chat option also. Only 4 students have sent me the answer. I'm just waiting for others to send me the thing. How many of you did not get this thing? Please let me know the same. Fine. So guys, first of all, we can use a lot of formulas for this. V square is equal to U square plus 2AS. Okay, but again, coming to this, we are here to learn the shortcuts. Okay, we are not here to do the long step procedure in this. So I think I think Gautam has done correctly, I think so here. Say bullet moving the speed of 100 meter per second. We'll least bother about the speed because we cannot sit and do for 3 to 4 minutes this question. We can just penetrate 2 planks of equal thickness. So guys, the work done or the energy here. Half mv square. Now the velocity is doubled. This is how you have to do in the entrance examination. Okay, what will happen? The energy is 4 times. So 4 into 2, how many planks are required? 8 planks are required. That's it. So this is the actual way to do this question. This is the way to do this in the entrance thing. We cannot sit and solve everything. How many of you are done in this method? I think I only got one answer. This was the answer in my mind also. But I'm not against your v square is equal to u square plus 2as. I'm not against it. Okay, fine. But end of the day, we have to see that this is not a board exam. We have to come out of that particular thing. Step by step thinking doesn't work here. Please copy down this thing. Class 11th question, I told you the questions will be very easy in class 11th. Has everyone completed this thing? Let me know. Done. Okay. So I'm just doing the other question now. Is there anyone left to copy down this thing? The number of such planks penetrated by the same bullet and speed is doubled. Velocity or V or speed, whatever it is, okay, is doubled. Energy becomes 4 times. How many of such planks is the question? 8 planks it can penetrate. How many of you have done this method? How many of you use this thing while doing this problem? Just put me yes, yes in this chat box. Very good. I think 2 students. I think so. So guys, you have to come out of that v square is equal to u square plus 2as. Okay, that's it. If you're doing that, it will take some time for us to do. So make sure that all the problems we can do it in less than 30 seconds or 15 seconds. That should be our objective. Fifty-sixth question. Two bodies of masses 1 kg and 2 kg have got equal momentum. The ratio of their kinetic energy is how much? 56th question. The key formula in this is very easy. E1 by E2 is equal to M2 by M1. 2 by 1. So answer is what? 2:1 is the option. 51st question. Option 3 is the answer. E1 by E2 is equal to M2 by M1. That's all. Done, everyone? Kinetic energy formula E1 by E2 is equal to M2 by M1. That's it. Nothing. How many of you seeing this formula for the first time? If seeing for first time, kindly add to the formula sheet. Physics A4 sheet you should have for physics, chemistry, and maths. Kindly add these things. Hardly 1 or 2 seconds. That's it. Nothing. Seeing itself will get the answer. And one more thing I would like to mention while seeing this is tuning fork and all will come, right? Tuning fork. If nothing is given the question, answer will be 1:1. Okay. For tuning fork. In tuning fork, if you see the question as tuning fork, there is no options given. In the sense, it's not doubled or something is given. Fine. The option will be always 1:1 for tuning fork kind of problems. Please note down this also. So if you get questions like that, we'll solve it. I'm just telling you. The next one, 57th question. The loudness and pitch of a sound note depends on first intensity and frequency, frequency, number of harmonics, intensity and velocity, frequency and velocity. Which is the option in this? 57th question. Please throw in all your options. So I'm getting option 4, option 2, then option 1. There is nothing called option A, it's 1 actually. Option 2, I'm getting 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything I got now. I think so. I'm waiting for others to send me the option. Let me see that. Please send in your options now. I'm not seeing about the correct answer. I'm seeing the how much confident you are for writing the KSET thing. This Friday you'll be having the test. Okay. For that particular examination, I want you to try it now. If you're afraid means we cannot get a good rank there. You should be highly positive. Fine. So that's it, the answers from your end. So guys, the loudness and the pitch of a sound, okay, depends on intensity, correct. Obviously intensity is the correct thing. Next thing we got velocity is there, frequency is there. Okay, let's see the pitch. If you can see my sound, obviously it is a male sound, correct. So the pitch determines what, whether the sound is a female or if it is a male. So what is there with us here? Now throat, frequency, the strings are there, right? Correct. So the pitch primarily depends upon what, the dominant frequency. You got the point. So the answer option A is the correct answer for this. Intensity and frequency, the loudness and the pitch. The loudness, obviously intensity, higher the intensity of the volume, more loud it will be. That's it. Intensity is the impact. That's it. So 57 option A. Fifty-ninth one. This is what I was actually coming to the thing. In Melday's experiment, the transverse mode, the frequency of the tuning fork and the frequency of the wing strings are in the ratio. Tuning fork, and if there is nothing given in the question, blindly mark 1:1. That's it. Blindly mark 1:1 as the answer. So any doubt in today's session, let me know now.